Hey Froggy friends, Kirostyle here and welcome to a Year in Review 2025. Thank you so much for watching this video. Now, I know what you're thinking. Kiro, it's February. It's kind of late for this video, isn't it? Yes, it is. I was so busy at the end of December because we went on our trip to Japan, and then when I came back, I was putting together the Japan slideshow. Life got really busy. We did our fight or flight stream, which also took some time, and then I got sick. So I've been meaning to put out this video earlier, but better late than never. But that's okay. I still think it's a good time to talk about what 2025 looked like on the channel and what our plans for 2026 might look like going forward. So let's talk about games because, games are a big part of this channel and games are a big part of like my identity as a content creator. And I think they're a good way to log our journey because most of the time I play a game and I wait until I finish it before I move on to something else. So it's kind of fun to go back and look at the timeline here. Now, these are the games or playthroughs that we started this year or continued this year, or games that came out with like a new DLC. I'm not going to talk about games that came out with like one single DLC and then we did one stream of, like Astrobot or Eiyuden, where we had like one video come out this year for each of them because they had new content. These are more like for the series that we've done. So we start off the year with Metal Gear Rising because we started 2024 off with Strider, so I want to start off this year with another ninja that I liked. Also because my debut was coming out, or my new debut for my 3.0 model in March is coming out, I want to tie up a lot of loose ends. So we went back and played Umineko Golden Fantasia, which we hadn't had a chance to do since we finished Umineko already. I also wanted to do Monster Road Trip with Cassie and Kip again, since we did Monster Prom 1 and 2 already. So want to get all that stuff out of the way. Oh, Frog Detective 3 as well, because we played Frog Detective 1 and 2. So a lot of that was because I wanted to finish that up before I debuted with my new model. We also continued our Persona 3 playthrough from last year because 2024 was just so busy with new releases. I didn't have time to finish Persona 3, and that went on the back burner since it was a game I already played the original of, so I didn't have to worry about spoilers. We also found out that Ninja Gaiden 4 was coming out this year, so I want to go and play the Ninja Gaiden games. We start off with Ninja Gaiden Sigma, which is a pretty old game. It was pretty tough. Wasn't really that fun because of how old it was, but it was a good experience. Okami 2 also got announced, so we ended up playing Okami to get prepared for that. We don't know when Okami 2 comes out. After debut, I played Street Fighter 6 because Street Fighter 6 is very much Kiro aesthetic. I really love fighting games, and I've loved fighting games for a long time, but I've never really been good at them because I've never sat down and just practiced them. I thought Street Fighter would be a good place to start with since it's got a thriving community, and it's supposed to be kind of more on the beginner-friendly side of fighting game stuff, but it's pretty hard still to get into, and I want to get good at it, but I just haven't had time because you gotta sit and spend a lot of time dedicated to one game to do that, and I like playing multiple games. But we'll see. I might still try again in the future because I do want to get better at it. We started a Tales of Symphonia collab on Kieran's channel, which is still in progress. I still want to play this game on my channel solo eventually because it is one of my favorite games. The 100 Line. Spent a lot of time on this game. We'll talk about that later. Blueprints was probably my favorite game of the year. Expedition 33 is a very close second. We played Castle Crashers with Lytos. We played Pit People with Forte. We played Repo with a few friends, which was also pretty fun because it's basically like Lethal Company, basically. Fatal Fury came out, another fighting game I want to get into. I found it a little easier than Street Fighter, but also not as much content to do for a casual like me. Still Wakes the Deep came out with their DLC. We also played TikTok, A Tale for Two with Sir Alex. And then we also played Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, which is the newest Ninja Gaiden game before Ninja Gaiden 4 in terms of like action 3D games. And I was a little nervous because Ninja Gaiden Sigma didn't go so well, but Ninja Gaiden 2 Black was actually really fun. It's just unfortunate that it's not part of the Master Ninja collection. So if you get the Master Ninja collection, you'll get Ninja Gaiden 2 Sigma instead of Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, which is an older game. We played Sadap with Onario, and he was actually on the development team for that game, so that was awesome. During the summer, we had a chance to go back and play some older games. This year was full of so many new releases, I didn't have too much time to go back and play older games. We found some time in the summer, and I want to play Shadow Hearts and Shadow Hearts Covenant because I love those games, and still hoping that Penny Blood, the spiritual successor, comes out eventually, so I want to get ready for that on the channel. Fire Emblem Blazing Blade I also really like the GBA Fire Emblem games, and I've been waiting for a chance to go back and play those. And Manakemia as well. The problem with these older games is that I can tell from the engagement in the chat and people's reactions that I'm the only one that cares about playing these games. A lot of people weren't really having fun watching me play these games because they were older games and people didn't really have interest in these franchises. So that was unfortunate. I still enjoyed these games, but I could definitely tell that the energy wasn't there. I still want to go back and play more retro JRPGs in the future in 2026, but we'll see. I might have to pace myself and not do too many at a time, lest people get bored of me. No Sleep for Konami Date also came out. I didn't really like that game. Lost Soul aside, I actually quite enjoyed more than most people did, I think. Ninja Gaiden 3, also rough around the edges because it's an older game. Trails in the Sky, first chapter, is a remake of the first game in the Trails series. I've been meaning to get into Trails, so this was a great opportunity to do that. It was a good game. Looking forward to the sequel coming out this year when they remake the second game. Silent Hill F was fun as well. Peak. A lot of people are playing Peak, and it's a good collab game, but I think it highly depends on who you play it with and their play styles, because some content makes for better viewing than others. So I did not keep the Peak videos on my YouTube channel just because I didn't think they were very fun to watch from like an audience perspective, but it was an okay game. Final Fantasy Tactics also came out. This one's still in progress. We didn't finish it because it was between a bunch of other new releases, but that's okay because it's a remake, so I don't have to worry too much about spoilers as much. It was nice, a little bit too grindy for my taste. Digimon Storytime Stranger was also kind of grindy. I wasn't originally going to play it, but I was a Digimon fan growing up. It was a mid-game. It wasn't spectacular, but it wasn't awful. Pokemon Legends ZA was also a game that was not on my radar for playing, but I ended up playing it. It was a lot of fun. We also played the Mega Dimension DLC as well. Ninja Gaiden 4 came out, and I was quite impressed by that game too. I think they really brought Ninja Gaiden into the modern age, so that was a lot of fun. Tales of Exilia is another game that I liked growing up, and Jude Mathis is one of my favorite characters, so it was kind of nice to finally get to play it on a modern console, share it with other people. Dispatch was also a fantastic game, probably another one of my top picks for this year. Hades 2 was also a really good game. I was waiting for it to come out of beta for the full release so I could play it, and it really delivered. No, I'm Not a Human was an interesting horror game as well. Octopath Traveler 0 was also a lot of fun, quite long. We only started it in 2025 and we finished it in December 2026. And we also started playing Split Fiction with Kieran, and that is still an ongoing playthrough because we need to play it together, but it's also a really good game. Very strong contenders this year. 2025 was really good for game releases. Now, for my Twitch recaps, it's funny because so many people messaged me and told me, like, Kiro, I think you single-handedly put the 100 line into our top categories for this year, and I apologize for that. The 100 line is one of the games I spent more hours on this year, and I think it was an okay game. I know a lot of people feel very strongly about it. There were a lot of things I didn't like about it, which is unfortunate because I am a big Danganronpa and Zero Escape fan, so I was quite disappointed at a lot of things in this game. It was kind of a running joke that there were a lot of things in this game that made me lose my mind because of how much I didn't like them. It's funny that Resonance of Fate and Mario & Luigi Brothership are here too, because Twitch does their recap in December, so these are games I played in December 2024. So I guess for our next Twitch recap for the end of this year, we're going to see Pokemon Legends Z and Octopath Traveler 0, just because those are games we played in December of 2025. Digimon Time Stranger was also kind of a long game, so I can see why that's there. Of course, for my top channels, I watch primarily my best friend Atelier Kieran. He's a great streamer. Go check him out. Professional voice actor. Also, because Marvel Rivals does this thing where every season there's like drops where you got to watch other people play. So I try to watch the official Marvel Rivals channel whenever possible, but sometimes they're not always on, so I got to go find other people playing Marvel Rivals just to get those drops. And I got to be careful not to watch them too much so they don't get it in my top 5 channels by accident, people that I don't actually watch regularly. So according to my Nintendo summary, my top game was Pokemon Legends ZA. So I did spend more hours in this game than I did in the 100 line, which I'm a little surprised about. But I gotta remember that includes the Mega Dimension DLC, and also I played some of Pokemon Legends ZA off stream to do some grinding or shiny hunting. So 100 line was actually my second most played Nintendo game, and then Hades 2 was my third one. Now, most of the time, again, like when I have a game that I have on multiple consoles, I usually prefer to play it on the PlayStation. So my Nintendo and Steam recaps are not as strong usually in terms of like quantity. Most of the time I prefer to play games on PlayStation. If not, I'll prefer play it on a Switch before getting it on PC. So Steam I primarily use for playing Final Fantasy XIV and Marvel Rivals, which are both live service games, and I don't play very many games off of stream. So Final Fantasy XIV, Marvel Rivals, and Grand Blue Fantasy are basically the only ones I play off stream. Now, YouTube doesn't give me a creator summary for the year. Like, some years they do and some years they don't. Some years it doesn't come out till February. Some years they email it to you. Some years it appears in the YouTube studio. It's very inconsistent. And this year they didn't seem to give one to me, so I couldn't find any statistics for that. I don't usually track my YouTube statistics that much because numbers aren't really my goal in this game. But I like including these so I can look back in the future and kind of see what it looked like from year to year. So I got a lot of subscribers after my debut, which makes sense, and then it trickled off towards the end of the year because I wasn't uploading as much because I went on my trip to Japan, so that makes sense to me. We're almost at 20,000 Twitter followers, though, so thank you very much. We're almost there, and I'm very grateful to everyone who stopped by. We're also at over 1,600 YouTube videos, which is crazy. That's insane. So, 2025 events that happened on the channel. Well, first of all, I've been keeping up with my regular exercising, which is great. That was one of my goals for 2025, so pretty happy with that, although I've been sick recently, so I need to get back into it. Now, for February videos, this is something that you may or may not know depending on how closely you follow me, so I'll explain a little bit. In 2024, in February, I released a video about prejudice, discrimination, privilege, racism. It was a video that I released to coincide with Black History Month because there was a lot of discourse or drama or discussion in VTuber Twitter about a lot of racially charged events. And as someone with some background in social justice and diversity training at a post-secondary level, I had some information I thought would be good to put into a video for educational purposes. So I thought it was a really good video. I had citations, I had references to research, I had information I've gotten from experts, from books, and I kind of compiled them all together in a way that I thought made it easier to explain. But it was a long video. It was like almost 40 minutes because these are pretty important topics, and I didn't want to split them into multiple videos because then I risk people only watching one of the videos out of the others and not getting the full picture. So I thought the video was really good. It didn't really pick off. A lot of people, didn't see it, which is fine. I'm a smaller creator, I get it. In 2025, I want to make a sequel to the video, and I want to specifically talk about the racism part of it, because there's a lot of stuff I didn't cover. And again, I thought it was a really good video. I did a lot of research, I did some referencing, I talked about some actual studies and experts and stuff like that too. And basically it came down to, I looked at two different viewpoints on racism. One of them is more like a colloquial everyday definition, and the other one is kind of a more academic specific definition of a way to look at it. And I basically go over both definitions, and then I talk about how neither one fully encompasses what I think is important. Both of them have strengths and weaknesses. And I talk about what I think is important from each of them, and then I invite the viewer to kind of form their own opinion and come to some kind of conclusion about what they think is important to them and applicable to them in their everyday lives, while also looking at other people's points of view. So the video was not meant to be like, hey, you should believe this. It was like, here's a bunch of information. Here are different ways you can take it. And I think that we have to go for more of like a gray view instead of a black or a white view. Problem is, the video did take off, and a lot of people outside of my audience found it. A lot of them just regular people on YouTube, like not VTubers or VTuber audiences. And the video started blowing up, and I was getting hate comments pretty much across the board. Pretty much no positive responses because it was a long video. It was still like 20 to 30 minutes. So I know most of the people didn't watch it because they would pick on little things here and there that showed to me they didn't watch the whole video, because they would come to the conclusion that I was supporting one definition of racism over the other. And they wouldn't agree completely with that definition. And so they would start berating me and calling me names and calling me slurs. And like a lot of them sounded like they were like far right grifter people, but not all of them. But it was very obvious that they hadn't watched the whole video, because they would have seen that the video wasn't telling them what to believe about either side. It was telling them that both sides have, advantages and disadvantages, right? So I was getting hate comments pretty much every hour, a couple new comments. My phone was going off all day. And Like to the point where one person commented and was like, "I see you hiding comments there, you coward. You must be an American. I hate you, people who, only see things from your country." And I'm like, "Well, I'm not American." And the only reason comments were getting hidden was because the YouTube filtering was actually filtering out all the ones that it detected as being too offensive. Like I did not manually hide a single comment. And so I was like, "Okay, well, it's a good video. I kind of want to keep it up, but is it worth it?" And I thought about hiding the comments, but I know that most of the time, when you see a YouTube video that has comments hidden, it looks kind of cowardly. I thought I'd keep the video up. I was like, "Oh, I can take this. I could take all these bad comments." But eventually, I took it down after 24 hours, and I also took down the 2024 video because I came to the conclusion that I didn't want these types of people in my community. I didn't want them trickling into my streams or finding my other videos or going on to Twitter and continuing these arguments. So I made the difficult decision to take down the videos. And it felt bad because I put a lot of effort into them and I thought they were very educational and informative. I have a similar video up that's still up right now. 2024, I made a video in June about gender identity and pronouns, and I still think that one's really good. And I haven't gotten backlash for that one, probably because it just hasn't popped off. I want to continue making educational videos here and there, but I might have to be more picky about the topics I cover just because maybe we aren't ready to have these discussions yet, unfortunately. And this channel isn't primarily about that, so I just didn't want to make that the main draw of it. It did suck, though. It felt very disheartening to see that happening and maybe lose a bit of faith in humanity. Now, at the end of March, I debuted my 3.0 model, which was fantastic. I got a lot of awesome support. I worked with a lot of amazing artists for that one, too. I worked with Black Dog on the model, who is amazing. He's an awesome artist I followed for a very long time, so I felt very lucky to be able to work with him. We had like a new starting screen, end screen, stingers. We had countdown artwork. We had a new just chatting background, a lot of new graphics. It was great. It was a big endeavor that I spent like a year preparing for. So I'm very happy that it went off really well. And for a while, it felt like it reinvigorated my love for streaming because now I feel like I'm in a model that best reflects me, and I'm just very grateful for everyone and their support. Now, I mentioned how in summer we ended up playing a whole bunch of older JRPG games, and I could tell that people were not as engaged in watching these streams or videos as me, and I was really enjoying these games. But what really sucked was I had a few people express outwardly that they were bored with the streams or the videos, and these are people that were also like longer time viewers, so that felt really disheartening. So in September, I just got fed up with it, and I decided to take a bit of a break from streaming. It was the longest break I've ever taken willingly. Most of the time I take breaks because I go on vacation or I get sick. And this is the longest time I actually just spent not streaming because I didn't want to stream. And it was almost 3 weeks. I thought it was only going to be like 1 week or 2 weeks, and it ended up being 3. But it didn't feel like a break because I was continuing to record videos off stream. I was still playing all these videos off stream to upload them to YouTube, basically still doing exactly what I was doing, but without an audience. So that kind of felt bad. Coming back after that, I think I had to reevaluate myself, think about my journey as a content creator and what I want to do. I still enjoy doing this. I don't plan to stop anytime soon. I still love playing games, but I have to understand, it's a hard sell, right? Long gameplays, especially JRPGs, are a hard sell to people looking for entertainment. And even if I'm enjoying myself and I want to continue, maybe I need to think about what I want to do to kind of mix things up here and there. And, the month of December was also kind of rough too. I was playing primarily Octopath Traveler 0 and Pokemon Legends ZA, and engagement was down a lot. Like, chat was very empty, no one was talking. Felt kind of bad. So I guess we'll see. I still feel like I'm in a bit of a rut here, so we'll see where that is going forward. I've talked about this before, but as a small content creator as well, especially on YouTube, it's kind of hard, and I don't get very many engagements. I don't get very many comments, and the few I do are usually hate comments. I usually get like 1 or 2 hate comments every week. Usually someone criticizing my gameplay or kind of actually me about information or lore of the game that I didn't ask for, or telling me my opinion about a game is incorrect. So it kind of sucks, but I want to continue going and doing my thing, even if I only see the negativity sometimes, because I know there's a lot of people out there that support me quietly or don't ever engage directly with me, and I never see it, but I do know that those people are out there, and I appreciate you lurkers a lot. So sometimes it's easy to forget these things. We also have a new mod on the channel, Finn Aries, who's been a longtime supporter, very, very awesome guy, cool friend, and very grateful that he agreed to help me be a moderator in the chat, although our time zones do not match up super well, but I'm very grateful whenever I see him. And of course, we went on our trip to Tokyo, which was a lot of fun. We did so much there. I did a whole bunch of videos talking about that. I also want to give a shout out to Vice Kurosaki, who's a really cool artist I've been following for a long time. He's also a VTuber. He does like game design, he does animations, he makes music, he does like everything. And he's been super great, and I've become friends with him or closer friends with him over the last year. And he's created like a couple Kiro fan arts over the last month, and I'm just very grateful that he even takes the time to do that. And English is not his first language, so the fact that he goes out of his way to like communicate and talk with me and become friends with me has been very humbling. So big shout out, go check him out when you get the chance. Goals for 2026. I want to keep up with all the daily exercising. I feel like I've been pretty good with that. I need to push myself a little bit more, I think. Get back into drawing is always one of my goals every year, and I didn't really get a chance to do that last year. This year I really want to. I think maybe the play here is this year I'll stream less or put out less videos so I can spend more time preparing for more exciting things like drawing or working on my video game design ideas I've been thinking about, my original characters and stories and all that stuff too. So maybe I just need to spend less time doing streaming and videos so I can still do that while still consistently putting out content here and there. I also want to brush up on my Japanese. My trip to Japan was great. It went really well. You can get along there pretty well with only English. I depended on Kieran a lot for the Japanese. I want to get better at it. I've studied Japanese formally in the past, but I've been so rusty with it. I need to get back into it. Having been to Japan recently, I think I just need to focus more on the speaking part, because usually I work on like speaking, reading, and writing and all that stuff, but I think speaking is kind of more of a priority. Speaking and listening, obviously, when you're there, just to get around and kind of get around some of those kind of more difficult places to navigate. So I want to do that. I don't plan to go to Japan again super soon, so I have some time. I also just want to try new things. Not just like in terms of content creation, but also outside of that too. Although I do want to try things like mixing up my video formats or trying some non-gaming streams or things like outside my usual stuff to see what that looks like and see if people are actually interested. But we'll see. I don't want to juggle too many things at the same time, but at the same time I do want to kind of see what my potential is by getting myself out there. And last of all, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for your support of the Kirostyle channel. I really appreciate it. All the people out there, even if it's like a quiet support or a visible form of support, I know you guys are out there supporting me, and sometimes it's easy to forget that, especially when I see a lot of negativity around. But I'm gonna keep going, and so I hope that 2026 treats you well too. Bye, Froggy friends.